Gotcha.
All
Ex-inmate
right, go
interview
ahead.
PT1.
Hey, this is Inc. Prisoner number 796-698. I was convicted of abduction, felony of third degree, and a misdemeanor domestic violence. I did 2 years in prison, and I just got home a few weeks ago.
All right. Let me find a real good question to start off. You said you did 2 years, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Let's see. How about, what is the scariest thing you've ever seen in prison?
Gosh.
That's probably
See,
a
my
tough
prison.
one.
What's that?
I said that's probably a tough one. There's a lot of shit that be going down in prison.
Well, I mean, actually, the prison I got sentenced to
Mhm.
was a level 1 security because of my age and the crime and like the interview. So like it's not anywhere near as what you hear a lot of prison stories. Those all
Yeah.
usually come up from a higher security prison.
Right. Okay.
But
Yeah.
but the probably the scariest thing was an inmate slashed the CO's neck in front of the warden and a
Oh,
bunch of people.
Jesus.
And it was because the inmate was about to get paroled out. I think he was in for 15 years before that, and I believe
Institutionalized and was
he just got
scared.
freaked out about. He got freaked out about leaving, so he did it, and like everyone's seen it and stuff. The
Yeah.
CO was fine, not fine, but he lived.
Oh,
But
wow. Wow. Yeah, that's terrifying. That is terrifying. And you don't even like being an officer at a prison, you get kind of complacent and you have to be like, you know what, snap out of that shit. There are dangerous people in here. You know what I mean? So that's
and he was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. He didn't do anything to the guy to like.
Oh yeah.
It was just
he was just there and
the inmate seen the warden there, and he seen the CO there, and he had a shank on him, and he jumped on it.
That's terrifying. I can't believe he lived though. That's awesome. What state did you say you were when you were in prison?
Ohio.
You were in Ohio?
I was in. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Here's a good one. How do you survive in prison if you're not in a gang?
How do you survive?
Yeah.
You keep to yourself. You don't put your nose in anyone else's business. If something's going on, just walk by it. Don't even look at it. Don't acknowledge it.
No matter what it is, they're shanking somebody, you just keep going.
Yeah. Don't get involved in any of the politics, and just be aware of yourself at all times. Because I didn't join a gang. I had a dog while I was there, and that was my gang,
Yeah, they had that at the prison I worked at too, a dog program.
Yeah.
That's cool. What was I gonna say? Well, that's good. And then I asked you about, I already ask you about your tattoos, if you had those before you went in, or do you have any from prison?
No.
No, you didn't? That's
no,
I don't blame you.
No, I have an artist to all my stuff, and I was competing at tattoo conventions, and I didn't run with. I thought about like maybe getting a small just to remember it, but it's all right.
I mean, I've seen some of the best tattoos I've ever seen were done in prison, and some of the worst tattoos I've ever seen were done in prison. So it's kind of like I wouldn't just, you never know. Especially like I don't even know how, doing it however you guys do it in prison, like sounds more painful than the real way. Like,
Yeah, if I ran into somebody that was doing work like that, I would have jumped on it, but it wasn't like that where I was. It was people learning and experimenting on other people, and nothing was good.
That's not safe. What do you think the dumbest rule is in prison that you guys can get in trouble, get DRs for?
Dumbest rule in prison. Probably being out of place. That's the rule that gets a lot of people. And,
Yeah.
Especially in the middle of the night, they do a count in the middle of the night, and it's not like they don't announce it. So if you don't pay attention to the clock and say you wake up and you have to run to the bathroom,
Yeah.
like you can get sent to the hole for just taking a piss.
Right.
That's probably the dumb.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. You picked a good one. Have you ever done time in SEG while you were there? Segregation,
Yeah.
Okay.
When I got to, there's a place called CRC in Ohio. That's where everyone goes before they're placed to their home prison. When I got there, it was because of COVID, it was like 72-hour lockdown there. And same with when I went to county jail. I think it was a 72-hour lockdown.
Wow.
So you were sick just because of COVID.
Right.
But, no.
Oh, you were in there during COVID. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but I never caught a ticket when I was in prison.
You never
I stayed out of the way. I never caught a ticket.
Oh, okay.
Whenever.
That's what they call disciplinary reports at where you were at, tickets?
Yeah, you get a ticket.
Oh, okay, interesting. So that was the only time that you were in lockdown or whatever, was when you were new coming in?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, just for quarantine.
Oh, right. No, I'm still. Sorry, my kid came in. Let's see. Did you participate in any like call outs, like chapel or things like that? Yard. Did you like yard? You went to yard? We call them call outs. Like chapel or like I can't remember, like little clubs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I went to church and AA and NA, and I was always out in the yard training the dog, and I took a few recovery programs, and toward the end I started to be a facilitator for a thing called Celebrate Recovery. And I would have 2 different small groups a week that I would oversee, I guess.
Oh, that's cool. That's what's up. So were you religious before prison, or are you one of the ones that found it in prison?
Yeah. I mean, I grew up Catholic and I stopped when I was 15, like right before confirmation. And, I leaned close to almost satanic throughout the years.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then when I got in county jail, like I actually prayed for the first time in probably 20 some years. And like, I didn't know what was going on with my case and like how the victim, like if she was going to come there and be with me or against me and make stuff up or whatever.
Right.
And I prayed and I was like, just give me a sign. And it was the next day I get a phone call. The CO came and gave me a number. Somebody wanted me to call him. And it was one of my friends. And my ex-fiance, the victim, and my friend, they were always trying to fight each other. They had crazy beef. And like they didn't get along at all. Well, she contacted her and wanted her to tell me that she went in and wrote a new statement and that she's trying to get me out. She's been contacting the lawyer. She was at rehab. And it was just too many coincidences to think that something didn't intervene, because like I never would have thought my one friend would be doing anything for my ex.
Right.
And it was literally the next day that happened. So that kind of changed.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Let me stop and then restart the next screen recording. Hold on just a second. I mean, you're going to be on here the whole time, but just a second.